Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, first of all, I want to let you all know that this is not a doom and gloom video. There's a message to be said about what I'm about to read to you guys. However, there is a message at the end, okay? So please stick till the end, all right? This is not a doom and gloom video. First, ladies and gentlemen, I have to apologize because this last weekend, I forgot to shout out our new subscribers, all right? So for those of you that don't want to stand by for the subscriber shout out, just go ahead and forward the video a couple minutes, all right? 2 or 3 minutes, and you'll get over that. However, for you new subscribers, if you want to be heard shout out, by all means, please stay on. Why? Because I feel it's important to recognize our new community members and welcome you all into our community, all right, with a heartfelt welcome, all right. In addition to that, I've got about 1 minute's worth of administrative work to take care of, and what I mean about that is I have a couple of additional shout outs, all right, and a little bit of information on what's going on this weekend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go ahead and start. So to our new subscribers, Julie, MSTV, Lynette, Melanie, Roseanne, Elizabeth, Sujeri, Morton, Jersey Peach, Pikachu, Shirley, Joan, Wayne, Cancrum, Donna, Emmanuel, Tiffany, Sweden from above, Lee Phil, Carol, Marybeth, Nancy, Sunny, Jokin, Sherry, KSM, Lisa, Volunteer Outdoors, GCDJ, working on it, Sean, Matt, Sean, all right, Sean Dom, so there's a second Sean, Main G, Miles Lasco, Get Cooking Now, Darren, Jose Eduardo, MZ, I'm not going to try to pronounce the rest of that one. Nice thumbnail there, Duma, Katrina, Nana, Joan, Florida Mom, One Shirley, Taylor Clark, Nena, Michael, Christina, sorry about that, Christina, Ben, Daniel, Zach, Suzanne, Ed, Hector, Razzle, and Wake Up and Know. Hey, welcome ladies and gentlemen to the community. Very happy to have you, okay? Thrilled to have you guys. I mean, I'm very excited. I get very excited every time I do shout outs because it tells me that reaching, teaching, and repeating, it does work. And with your guys' help, we can reach more people so that we can help them to become prepared, or that we can attract people to our community that are already preppers with experience that can help the community as a whole. So thank you very much and welcome to the Alaska Prepper community. Very, very happy to have you. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to give a shout out. First of all, I got some mail call the other day, and I forgot to mention this on Sunday's video as well. I got I'm not going to mention the names of the, well, I can mention at least their initials, all right? If you all don't mind me mentioning your name, if you send me something in the mail, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to, or else I'll just mention your first name. But I got a card from Jody, and I got a handwritten letter, a 2-page handwritten letter, ladies and gentlemen, by the initials of RR. So you know who you are. Thank you very much for those. I will treasure those. And ladies and gentlemen, just so as you know that if you send me a card or a letter, I will not throw it away. I will read it, and I plan on saving all of those to pin up on my prepper wall, all right, when I finish my prepper room here, hopefully this coming building season. All right. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to give a shout out to John and to Douglas for hooking Alaska Prepper up with a cup of coffee. So I wanted to let you guys know that I received the cup of coffee that you guys sent me. All right. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I don't think I'm going to do this for this giveaway that's coming up because I'm not sure it's quite fair for everyone involved. But I was thinking of something that I can do for people that do donate to the channel via monetary ways, you know, like either buying me a coffee or a super chat. Not trying to take away from anyone that cannot. Absolutely not. If you cannot, please do not. I would rather you use your money to go and buy some preps. However, if you can afford it, we always appreciate the help. All right. It goes towards the channel. I actually ordered a new camera. So hopefully my pictures will start coming out a little bit better. My videos will come out a little bit better. I'll have to train myself on how to use it. However, I appreciate your guys' support. I think that starting the next giveaway for every person that donates like a coffee or more, meaning whoever buys me a coffee or does a super chat of, let's say, like $3 or more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter your name into the giveaway basket, I guess you can call it, basket of names. I'm going to enter your name at least once for every donation you make. So thank you very much. I do need to start doing that because I do have to show my appreciation for those that actually sent me some of their hard-earned dollars, because as you all know, ladies and gentlemen, a dollar is not easy to come by nowadays. So for those of you that can afford it and are able to donate, I appreciate it very much. And I want to thank you by at least giving you a little bit of an extra opportunity to be involved in the giveaways. All right. So thank you very much to John and to Douglas and to all of you who have done super chats in the past. I know that there's been several of you and I do truly appreciate it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you from the community as well, because we as a community will benefit from your donations or your gifts. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, having said that, let me go ahead and get into the meat of this video. And first of all, I want to make sure that you understand that this is not a doom and gloom thing I'm trying to put out here. It is a story that I'm not sure how much validity it has, because as one of our community members alerted to me a while back, or a few videos ago, and I think it was Michael, I think it was, that what we read and what we're told, how do we know that it's true? Especially things that happened more than a millennia ago or several millennia ago. How do we know that these things are true? Is it a big conspiracy, of scientists to try to get us to believe one thing or another? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But that's why I always encourage everyone to do their own research. And although what I'm about to read to you here is a little bit disturbing at the least, I want to let you know that at the end of this reading, which is not too long, there is a message, and I want you to stay tuned for that message, because I think that the message is more important than this story. Now, first of all, I want to say that it was one of our community members that alerted me to this story. Actually not. I've seen this and I've read this a while back, at least a month or two back, I believe. And I just didn't want to put this out there, but I think that the context in which I'm putting this out there, in which I'm reading this and then telling you what I think it's important. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and read this. Okay, so what this is the Adam and Eve story. For those of you that don't know, it is a document, or it was a book that was written by Chan Thomas, and it was back in the early 60s. And Chan Thomas, I believe, was a scientist. Okay, and it is about cataclysmic events that have happened to the earth time and time over again. And these events were pretty much extinction level events. Okay, pretty much meaning that almost all of the population and the life forms on earth were extinguished because of these events. And there are some time frames that this provides, and it provides a narration of what happens, all right, or what had happened during these events and why. Okay, so it was classified by the CIA all the way back until 2013. So as you can see here, this was put out in 1965, and it was just released, all right, a sanitized version, which is this version here, was released 6 years ago, or 5.5 years ago, you could say. Okay, so That's where this comes from. I will leave the link to this. This is actually an actual link to the Central Intelligence Agency where you can pull this PDF from and read the entire thing for yourself. I've read this whole thing and there's some interesting stuff in here. It's not just about this story. There's other stories that have been declassified and sanitized for public use as well, on top of this one. But as you can see, this is called the Adam and Eve story. And I'm going to start reading right now. Okay. And then it says here, the next cataclysm. All right. And it dictates here that the last cataclysm, like Noah's, all right, where there was a huge flood, was 6,500 years ago. And the one prior to that was about 11,500 years ago. And we begin. With a rumble so low as to be inaudible, growing, throbbing, then fuming into a thundering roar, the earthquake starts. Only it's not like any earthquake in recorded history. In California, the mountains shake like ferns in a breeze. The mighty Pacific rears back and piles up into a mountain of water more than 2 miles high, then starts its race eastward. With the force of 1,000 armies, the wind attacks, ripping, shredding everything in its supersonic bombardment. The unbelievable mountain of Pacific seawater follows the wind eastward, burying Los Angeles and San Francisco as if they were but grains of sand. Nothing stops the relentless, overwhelming onslaught of wind and ocean. Across the continent, the 1,000-mile-per-hour wind wreaks its unholy vengeance everywhere, merciless, unceasingly. Every living thing is ripped into shreds while being blown across the countryside, and the earthquake leaves no place untouched. In many places, the earth's molten sublayer breaks through and spreads a sea of white-hot liquid fire to add to the Holocaust. Within 3 hours of the fantastic wall of water moves across the continent, burying the wind-ravaged land under 2 miles of seething water coast to coast. In a fraction of a day, all vestiges of civilization are gone. In the great cities, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Dallas, New York, are nothing but legends. Barely a stone is left where millions walked just a few hours before. A few lucky ones who managed to find shelter from the screaming wind on the lee side of Pikes Peak watched the sea of molten fire break through the quaking valleys below. The raging waters follow, piling higher and higher, steaming over the molten earth's fire and rising almost to their feet. Only great mountains such as this one can withstand the cataclysmic onslaught. North America is not alone in her death throes. Central America suffers the same cannonade, wind, earth, fire, and inundation. Sorry about that, I'm not a very good reader. South Africa finds the Andes not high enough to stop the cataclysmic violence pounded out by nature in her berserk rage. In less than a day, Ecuador, Peru, and western Brazil are shaken madly by the devastating earthquake, burned by molten earth fire, buried under cubic miles of torrential Pacific seas, and then turned into a frozen hell. Everything freezes. Man, beast, plant, and mud are all rock hard in less than 4 hours. Europe cannot escape the onslaught. The raging Atlantic piles higher and higher upon itself, following the screeching wind eastward. The Alps, Pyrenees, Urals, and Scandinavian mountains are shaken and heaved even higher before the wall of water strikes. Western Africa and the sands of the Sahara vanish in nature's wrath under savage attacks by wind and ocean. The area bounded by the Congo, South Africa, and Kenya suffer only severe earthquakes and winds, no indignation. Survivors there marvel at the sun standing still in the sky for nearly half a day. Eastern Siberia and the Orient suffer a strange fate indeed, as though a giant subterranean seethe sweeps away the earth's foundation, accompanied by the wind in its screaming symphony of supersonic death and destruction. As the Arctic basin leaves its polar home, eastern Siberia, Manchuria, China, and Burma are subjected to the same annihilation as South America. Wind, earth fire, inundation, and freezing. Jungle animals are shredded to ribbons by the wind, piled into mountains of flesh and bone, and buried under avalanches of seawater and mud. Then comes the terrible paralyzing cold. Not man, nor beast, nor plant, nor earth is left unfrozen. In the entire eastern Asian continent, most of which remain below sea level. East of the Urals, in western Siberia, a few lucky people survive the fantastic winds and quakes. Antarctica and Greenland, with their ice caps, now rotate around the earth in the torrid zone, and the fury of wind and inundation marches on for 6 days and nights. During the 6th day, the oceans start to settle in their new homes, running off the high grounds. On the 7th day, the horrendous rampage is over. The Arctic Ice Age is ended, and a new Stone Age begins. The oceans, the great homogenizers, have laid down another deep layer of mud over the existing strata in the Great Plains, as exposed in the Grand Canyon, Painted Desert, and Badlands. The Bay of Bengal Basin, just east of India, is now at the North Pole. The Pacific Ocean, just west of Peru, is at the South Pole. Greenland and Antarctica, now rotating equatorially in the torrid zone, find their ice caps dissolving madly in the tropical heat. Massive walls of water and ice surge toward the oceans, making everything from mountains to plains in gushing, heaving paths, creating immense seasonal moraines. In less than 25 years, the ice caps are gone, and the oceans around the world rise over 200 feet with the new-found water. The torrid zone will be shrouded in a fog for generations from the enormous amounts of moisture poured into the atmosphere by the melting ice caps. New ice caps begin to form in the new polar areas. Greenland and Antarctica emerge with verdant tropical foliage. Australia is the new unexplored continent in the North Temperate Zone, with only a few handfuls of survivors populating its vastness. New York lies at the bottom of the Atlantic, shattered, melted by earth fire, and covered by unbelievable amounts of mud. Of San Francisco and Los Angeles, not a trace is left. Egypt emerges from its Mediterranean inundation, new and higher. Still the land of the ages. The commonplace of our time becomes the mysterious Baalbek of the new era. A new era, yes, the Cataclysm has done its work well. The greatest population regulator of all does once more for man what he refuses to do for himself, and drives the pitiful few who survive into a new Stone Age. Once more, the earth has shifted its 60-mile thick shell, with the poles moving almost to the equator in a fraction of a day. Again, the atmosphere and oceans refusing to change direction with the earth's shell have wiped out almost all life. After this tumble, we join Noah, Adam and Eve, Atlantis, Mu, and Olympus, and Jesus joins Osiris, Ta'aroa, Zeus, and Vishnu. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, And then here they go on to the Great Floods. This is the last one, and you guys can read this. But what the Adam and Eve story here is describing is the end of civilization as we know it. And from what I've seen and read, it is correlated to, as stated by the scientists and videos that I've seen and all this stuff. And please research this yourself. There's a lot of stuff out there online, not only on YouTube, but also online, as you can see right here. Okay. But what they're saying is that every so often, every 12,500, every 12,600 years or so, the sun does what's called a supernova. And from my understanding, what a supernova is, putting it in layman's term, is the sun burps. All right. And when it burps in all directions. All right. It burps around its entire perimeter. And it burps up and down. So it pretty much produces a huge flash, all right, that goes throughout our solar system. And it's a very big flash of energy. And what that does is it produces what I just read. It makes the earth do the things that I just read. And it has a lot to do with the magnetic field of the earth, the poles shifting in a quick way, the earth stopping its rotation. As you heard me state on there in one of the sentences, it said that people were amazed that the sun was in one place for most of the day. It's because the earth stopped spinning, and then eventually it will start spinning in the opposite direction. And the reason for the 1,000-mile-an-hour winds is because at the equator, the earth spins at about 1,000 miles an hour. Okay. And if it starts spinning all of a sudden, then that wind is still going to try, it's going to go the opposite direction, right? So that's where you're getting your 1,000-mile-an-hour winds from and your tsunamis from. So from what I understand, that's how I understand it, all right? From the very small amount of research I've done, that's how I understand that this story evolved from that theory, okay? Now, why do I say that this is not a doom and gloom story? Because it sure sounds like one, right? It sounds like one because this is saying that. And why was it classified for so long, right, by a government? I have no idea. Okay, that's just conspiracy theory. As far as we all know, this could all be propaganda. We don't know, okay? But like I said, there is a message behind all of this, okay? First of all, let me finish my little rant here, or my little blab here, by saying, ladies and gentlemen, do your own research, okay? Go look into this, though, because it is extremely interesting. And there's a lot of science behind this, all right? And, a lot of science having to do with the sun, really, behind this. And the people that are talking about this, that have credibility, are pretty credible people, I forgot the name of the gentleman. He's a doctor. And he's got several degrees, and I forget what they are. But I listened to a few hours of his testimony on video. And what I mean by testimony is him showing people exactly, step by step, why it is that this happens. And it's extremely interesting, okay? If you look this subject matter up on YouTube, you'll be able to find dozens of videos on this that try to go in depth onto why it is that this happens. And I do believe that one of those YouTube channels is Suspicious Minds. All right, that's not where I got this. That channel is not where I got this link for this thing. But Suspicious Minds does try to break it down and does short videos trying to explain one step at a time why these things happen, or supposedly can happen, in regards to the story I just read you. Okay, so what's the message, ladies and gentlemen? So after reading something like this, all right, you can do one of two things. You can say, well, why even bother prepping? If people are predicting that this is going to happen, then why even bother prepping? Okay, so I want to answer that. Okay, so when you prep for a reason, right? You prep because you want to make sure that you and your family have the things that you need in order to make it through a crisis, okay? There are some things that you cannot prep for. but then again, you can prep for, right? If you're in the mindset, because some people, and this video is really directed to those people that will lose hope after reading something like this. Some people will be like, I'm not going to prep anymore. There's no sense in prepping, and give up, right? And say there's no sense, all right? Well, there's two different types of prepping, okay? And I believe that you should do both types of prepping. First of all, you should be prepared to make sure that you provide yourself and your family with sustenance for a prolonged amount of time in case there is a crisis that we can't control, right? But there are also things that we have absolutely zero control over, like this, all right? Well, this is when you prep with yourself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, if this were to happen today, if what I just read were to happen today, all right, and my life was wiped clean of this earth, am I ready? Some people don't believe in a higher power. Some people do. I tend to be one of the ones that does believe in a higher power. Am I ready for something like this to happen? If the answer that you have to that question is no, or I don't know, then you need to look at yourself in the mirror. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I were to go home today, if the man upstairs or if the good Lord upstairs called me home today, I would, when I'm at the pearly gates, I'll be like, I did everything that I could, and I did the best that I could. I try to live a virtuous life. I try to be a good person. That's the best you can do. That is the form of prepping that I'm talking about. If you can honestly tell yourself that you haven't done the best that you can do, then maybe you need to look at yourself in the mirror. Because I find that the people that don't want to hear this are people that are afraid of dying, all right? And you shouldn't really be afraid of dying if you've led a virtuous life, okay? I can tell you that at one time I was afraid of dying, all right? And I was very close to death, and I called to the Lord and I said, please don't let me die. My family needs me. But that's a different case, okay? I'm talking about everyone, pretty much humanity, being wiped out, all right? If everyone's being wiped out, you shouldn't be afraid to die if you've led a virtuous life. If you've done the best that you could do with the life that you were given, then you should be fine, okay? When it's time to go, it's time to go. None of us know when that time will be, all right? So make sure that you prep the things that really matter. Not only food, not only water, not only your 5 B's of prepping, but make sure that you prep your own inner peace. Because ladies and gentlemen, when you have inner peace, everything becomes easier. Trust me, everything in life becomes easier. That weight on your shoulder is lifted up from you. And I'm going to tell you a really quick story, and then I'm going to end it with that, okay? A very long time ago, decades ago, there were some people that I just could not stand, all right? There was a few people that I just couldn't stand, and it was killing me inside, all right? And I won't get into why, but it was just killing me inside, that every time that I saw some of them, it would really bother me, and I just couldn't be near them. And one day I woke up. One day I told myself, why do you have this hate inside of you? That day I stopped hating. That day I stopped feeling the way I was feeling. I willed myself. I will not feel like this anymore. I will not have any hate in my heart anymore. And that day freed me. It really did. That day freed me because I was no longer consumed with hate. And what I'm getting at is that we all have to look in within ourselves and find that thing that we need to find in order to make ourselves better. All right? If you hate, stop hating. Trust me, loving people and being a lover of people is a much better experience, even when you don't get that love back, all right? When you see someone that needs something and you can help them, and you know that you will never get that back from that person. You know that that person will never have the ability to pay you back. That was not money or time or effort wasted. It truly was not. Because I've always said that doing the right thing is never wrong. All right? I've been told to stop giving people at corners money because they are fooling the public, that they really don't need it. And I've come to realize that for the most part, maybe yes, that's true. All right? But I still do it every once in a while, you know, because there's nothing wrong with doing the right thing. I don't advocate that you go out and find everyone in a corner and give them your money, you know, but it has to come from the heart. So my point is this: we all prepare with physical things, all right, and skills. We all prepare with these things for the things that we will be able to control during a crisis. Because if there's a crisis where the supply chain stops and you have supplies, you are able to control your life, all right? You don't have to hand control over to someone else so that you can get the things that you need. You'll still be able to control your life during that crisis, all right? But that's with the physical things. What about for the things that you cannot control, all right? That's where we have to have inner peace. And if that inner peace comes with you having a higher faith, you know, with you having faith in a higher being, all right, in a superior being, then that's how it comes. But you have to find your inner peace. That way, when the day comes where we have to go home, wherever you may call that home, that we will leave in peace. And we don't have to worry about stories like this, all right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if something like this happens, it doesn't matter how many preps you have. It doesn't matter, okay? Maybe 1% of the population on Earth would survive. All right, so it doesn't matter how many preps you have. Okay, that's why I'm saying that you need to make sure that you are at peace with yourself. If you are not at peace with yourself, you just need to look at yourself in the mirror. And what I mean by that is sit down and write a list. What do I not like about myself? What do I like about myself? What things do I need to change in order to become a person that's more in line with the person that I want to be? It's not difficult, ladies and gentlemen. Stop hating, all right? Stop finding fault in everyone, all right? Stop finding fault in everyone. Stop hating people. Do your very best at anything you do. Love your families. Love your fellow human beings. It's not a hard equation. It's really not. It's not a hard thing to do. It should come natural to all of us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I truly hope you got something out of this. I know this was more of a ramble than it was anything else. But the main message is don't be scared by these kinds of things. The things that you cannot change, there's no reason to be scared of these things. Okay? Because I know that when I first read this, I was kind of horrified reading this, you know, and then, you know, through doing some more of my research, you know, there's some scientists that are saying, yeah, we're in that time frame of the sun doing another mini supernova or something like that. We're in that time frame, and I'm thinking to myself, so what am I going to do? Am I going to live my life thinking that tomorrow this could happen? No, I'm going to live my life the same way I'm living it now. I'm going to control the things that I can control, and those things that I cannot control, then they're going to happen anyways. I'm just going to make sure that I'm right with my maker. All right? I'm going to make sure that I do the right things, that I take care of my family, that I love them, that I love my fellow human beings. All right? And that I'm right with my maker. And then after that, whatever happens, happens. All right? But I'm going to keep doing the same thing that I've always been doing. I'm going to live my life in the same manner. Do not let words that are printed on a piece of paper or a PDF, or do not let words that come out of someone else's mouths, all right, determine how you're going to live your life. You have to determine that by yourself, okay? Because I read a lot of comments also where people say, hey, your pantry is really full. You know, my pantry video that I put up a while back. Your pantry's really full, but what are you going to do if it burns down? I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not planning on it burning down, but if it burns down, then I'll just have to deal with it, right? So some people will only see the negative in things, all right? But when I read this story, I don't see the negative in it. What I see in it is, okay, if it happens, it happens. I'm good with God. I'm good with God, and I know that my family is as well, all right? So that's my message, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and sign off because I probably made this a lot longer than what it needed to be. Okay, so for those of you that have stuck it out, thank you very much. Remember, if you're still here on this video, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. Remember that last Sunday's video, the one where I did the instructional video on building your own Berkey system. Remember that if you want to enter the giveaway for that system that I described in that video, please make sure that you go take a look at that video and that you give it a like, that you are subscribed, of course, and that you leave a comment, and that will enter you into that video. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, that maybe didn't watch that video, from now on I'm going to go ahead and stop announcing giveaways on the title of the video. Okay, I want people to come to the channel who want to be there. I want the people that win to be people that actually want to be there, all right, and actually go through the video and then decide to enter the giveaway, all right. I don't want someone to just see giveaway on the title and then just get on it, click like. Meaning that I want to give it to those of you that are really wanting to watch the content, all right, because those of you are the ones that really do support the channel, and I appreciate it. And we've gotten a lot of traffic too on that video, so I'm really glad. I think we've gotten more entries to that video than the last one for the pizza oven, so it gets higher and higher, and I'm going to try to make the giveaways a little bit better. I'm already working something out on the next one where we're going to have several giveaways, and I think it's going to be a fun one too because I'll be doing a lot of different reviews. All right, ladies and gentlemen, having said that, let me get ready for work. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to every one of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.